So if I have a look back at where the role of IT was in 2000, I do always like the analogy, using a bit of the medical profession, so absolutely no knowledge of the medical profession whatsoever. In 2000, from my point of view, IT was very much about being the GP of the business. They need to know an awful lot about the underlying infrastructure, but they weren't actually specialists at any of this. They were able to diagnose an issue, maybe fix some smaller problems, but every time when it came to larger problems, they did have to revert back to a specialist. Because who is actually capable of knowledgeably assessing things like network, server storage, operating system applications, desktop, end-user protection, system integration, all these kind of wonderful things that we expect IT to do? It is impossible to know everything at a deep-seated level. And that's why, back in those days, IT was very much about being EGP. If you look at the year 2011, I think we've already seen that vast majority of IT operations are already moving towards specialism. Yeah, there's certain aspects where businesses and organizations have realized, no, why am I actually doing this in-house? If I could get somebody to run my network for me, why would I do it myself? If I get somebody to actually operate my data center for me, why should I do that myself? I'm not a specialist at that. Somebody else can actually support me on this. So that could be network, that could be cloud services, that could be in particular applications. What that means is that the IT team can actually focus on what they really should be focusing on, which is the end users and the applications that are relevant and important to every business and organization out there. And that will differ between every single business and organization out there. So the guys you got internally are the specialists for your business. They know your end users, they know your application, they know what is actually required. So some of the things that IT today is focused upon is like, how can my end users access the systems? Not everybody is capable of coming into the office for various reasons. Not everybody has got a fixed desktop. There might be a lot on the road, there might be in remote offices, there might be even abroad, where they still need access to the key systems at a sensible speed and still be able to operate as if they were in the office. There's plenty of people now who've got flexible working hours, who are working from home, and again, these people, these staff need to be treated exactly the same as office-based staff. They need the same system, they need the same support. So it's obviously a key focus for IT at the moment. It's quite amazing when you speak to any kind of IT department in regards to their applications. You will always find at least 5 to 10 applications where you can virtually afford no downtime whatsoever. Back in 2000, if an exchange server was out of action for a day, a bit of an issue, but we would survive. Now, no emails for an hour, and every phone in the business will go, where's my email? I can't get access to this. I can't get access to the file. Where's my contract? Yes, the availability of applications is absolutely vital. And the more applications we put out there, the more integration we want. We put something in a workflow, we want to make sure we can actually get it out of the workflow, and we make sure we can recover that data, we can back it up. We need to make sure the different systems can talk to each other. So there's an awful lot of time and effort to be spent on making sure that that happens, which obviously means that you haven't got time to look after the mundane tasks, which is where you get the support from cloud service providers. And of course, business continuity and DR is absolutely vital. I assume most of you have got links into the capital, one form or another, be that through direct offices, be that through suppliers and partners and customers. London is struggling for power, yeah, not just at the political level, but also at the electricity level. Yeah, there's loads of business that we speak to say, well, we've had about 5 power outages last year. Well, that's all great. If it's maybe lasts for an hour, you might have some UPS in the cellar somewhere. But if you have got long terms of inavailability of systems, how can you actually make sure that your business continues? So that's why IT directors these days actually spend an enormous amount of time on. Because they're real life scenarios, not just, we might lose some power. No, that is actually a reality. It's not, are we going to lose some power? It's how long is it going to last and how often is it going to occur? And what can I do to actually overcome that issue? They are real issues that these guys now need to focus on. But we don't stop there. If we look at the year 2020, the way we see it, and obviously some of you will already be at that position, where IT will have board-level representation. As I said, some businesses, certainly the larger ones, do tend to have that already. Smaller ones or other organizations, not necessarily, because IT is still seen, well, it's a function of the business. It's a cost center. I don't really understand what they're doing, but as long as they get systems up and running, that's all they do, fine. From our point of view, no, it isn't. Obviously, there's an awful lot more that IT actually is not just responsible for, but capable of. If you, I don't know how many of you have got kids in primary education. I've now through my 4th child in primary education, and just over the last 7 years, I've seen an enormous amount of change in the classroom, yeah? Where ITs actually think about, well, how can I make it easier for the teacher? How can I make it easier for the kids? They're thinking about the end user, not about what technology can do. They're thinking about the end user, yeah? Interactive whiteboards didn't exist 7 years ago, certainly not now primary school. They're now there by default, and teachers use them on a daily basis, and they use them to the kids' benefits. If you look at the computer room, everybody's got laptops, and the teacher's got the ability to remotely view what every individual child is doing and remotely help them, rather than having to go around and actually stand over their shoulder. They can see what they're accessing on the internet. Yeah, again, they're thinking about the end user. How can I make it easier for the end user? And that's what IT of the future is really all about. How can I improve productivity? I'm looking at businesses. How can I reduce my overall cost? And more importantly, how can I increase the return on investment? Because whatever I'm doing, if I do it in-house, if I use services in the cloud, I need to make sure I get a return on my investment. But it's really turning IT from it being a cost center into revenue generation. Again, if we look at the application layer, they understand, oh, if I couple those two applications together, they could read the same information. Wouldn't that actually mean I could get a proposal out to customers in half the time? Which means, am I not actually quicker than what our competition is doing? Which means you might actually win some more business. Yeah, you might get through to your end user customer a lot quicker. So they're not just there to fulfill an IT function, they're actually there, let's have a look at where the business is at the moment, let's have a look where the business needs to be in the few years' time, and what can we put in place to facilitate that change. And that's why we see IT is already changing at the moment and will definitely be there in the year 2020. And the things that are driving these changes are, of course, around being able to respond quickly to change. Be that in public sector, be that in private sector, we've all got issues on a daily basis that we need to be able to respond quickly to a change, be agile. Now, it's difficult if you have everything in-house, all the system, all the storage, all the networks, everything else, to quickly fire up something else, to quickly build something else for a particular project, for a particular end user, for a particular department. Why not let somebody else actually look after that? Yeah, we all know we've got fast-changing environments because we live in fast-changing times. You know, we had a financial crisis that we're still suffering from at the moment. The next one is just around the corner. If Greece decided to actually, I'm not paying my debts anymore, guys, so like, you know, what will that do to the world financial markets and everybody else who's hanging off those markets? All of us, yeah? We are living in fast-changing times, so we've got to make sure we are agile and flexible as organizations and businesses to be able to respond to change quickly. Cost reduction is there all the time. You've got to be able to reduce your cost overall. You've got to make sure we're actually more efficient. And most of us are moving from capital-based models to OpEx models, where you only just pay for what you use. You turn on the tap, you get charged. You turn off the tap, the charge drops, just like your utility bill. And that's sort of what's driving the change going forward. But the relationship of IT within the business is absolutely vital. You know, this is trying to convince the business, as I said, that IT is not just a function, that IT is an enabler, delivers actual value. They understand what are the objectives and targets of the business. Where do we like to be in 2 or 3 years' time or in 5 years' time? What changes do we need to see? What do we need to do in IT to actually facilitate those changes? And how can we increase revenue or improve effectiveness and efficiency for the end users? I think all of us have been there at some point in our life and our professional careers. How do we get there? What do we do? There's different options open to us. What is the right route to take? From our point of view, it's all about making that transition from being a function to actually delivering some real value. So try to understand, what are the drivers for the business? Do they actually make sense? Is IT aligned to that? And if not, why are they aligned to that? You know, are there some quick wins? If you actually go to the board and say, look, if we changed those systems, if we moved that into the cloud, for example, we would reduce some costs, free up some cash we could spend on something else. How can we make it easier for our end users? Yeah? understand what opportunities are there for IT to actually show to the business, look, it's not just nuts and bolts, it's not just ones and zeros and servers and flashing lights, it's actually about end users, it's actually about applications and delivering value. A lot of you might already have done a cloud readiness assessment, but I think it's, even if you have done one, it's always worth to review that on a regular basis, because different systems will become more ready for the cloud than they were 2 years ago. And that's not less from a technical point of view, that's more from a perception point of view, from a board point of view. 10 years ago, very few people were happy to put their email system into the cloud. Now, most people are quite happy to do that. Yeah, everybody put their web service in the cloud, that was the easy one. But now we're also seeing that additional high-end applications, like an SAP environment, like an Oracle environment, is actually moved into the cloud. High-end mission-critical applications, because we know there's end users around the world that might have to access that system. But we need to guarantee 24/7 availability and virtually no downtime. But we need resilience between two data centers to actually make sure those applications can be recovered very, very quickly. So those cloud readiness tests are absolutely vital. And then use all that information you've gathered and actually transfer that into a strategic IT business case. Because the board won't understand the nuts and bolts, the service and the storage and everything else. They need to understand, okay, we need to spend X amount to achieve the following objectives. These are the business drivers. That's how we transfer them into, or translate them into actual IT projects and IT deliverables. And that's what the end product will be. That's what we can get measured upon. That's what we can deliver. And the cloud is there to support all these business cases. And I said, focus on the end users, focus on the application, let cloud service provider look after the mundane tasks, such as providing computing power, providing network, providing data center space, and communications tools. Focus on what actually delivers value to the business. So instead of having everything on site, be it the email system, be it the telephony system, and everything else, we think we should deliver most of that. We appreciate you can't virtualize everything, you can't move everything to the cloud, but as much as we can, based on the cloud readiness assessment that we've done, into the cloud, into the network, and deliver that and manage that centrally, and achieve all the agility and flexibility that we've always wanted as a business. From our point of view, infrastructure as a service and software as a service will be the default going forward. Not for every application, that's absolutely understood, but for the vast majority of common applications. Exchange, SQL databases, file systems, SharePoint, all the likes, where literally the application layer can still be managed, of course, in-house, but a growing number of applications will be managed in the cloud. All the way from the computer room through the service and storage, the OS applications, and also managing of the application data, top of the pile. But we do understand there are a number of concerns within most organizations that quite often center around data security, data availability, data loss. Yeah? The question I would ask you, okay, do you actually think it's more secure in your own environment? We always read about, like, oh, data's been lost here, somebody can't get hold of data there. The problem you always face, be that in-house or in the cloud, is the end user. The end user loses data. The end user leaves a laptop on a train. Yeah? How can you prevent that? You can't. No matter how good your systems are, being in-house or in the cloud, those things will happen now and they will happen in the future. Yeah? So from our point of view, a proper cloud model is as secure or as insecure as your own on-site system is. So from our point of view, there's actually certainly no degradation of stuff that it should actually be improved, but actually having high availability and more data compliance and data security. But as was mentioned in a previous presentation, do ask your service provider, what do they do in order to protect the data? Where does the data stored? And see some test cases of that. Trial those services, get data back, try to breach it. Yeah? A lot of our customers trying to breach things on a daily basis, because that's what their compliance and that's what the legal departments have asked them to do. Do checks on the network, do checks on, if I can actually access somebody else's data. And you shouldn't be able to do that, because data is actually secured. From our point of view, it's not kind of thing, is this going to happen? It's really just a question of when will it happen. As I said, 10 years ago, Exchange in the cloud, unthinkable. Now, that is the norm. Yeah? Why would you run your CRM system in the cloud if you can run it in-house? Again, 10 years ago, yes, you did. Now, you're quite happy to run in the cloud. And it's all about the increased adoption of these services and about reducing cost. The more people do to think, actually, well, they're doing it, why don't we? The competitor of ours, if they think it's secure, why don't we? Let's try it out, let's see if it actually works. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, when MPLS was still put out as the main mechanism to connect business and organizations across the UK, that's insecure, we shouldn't do that. No, let's have point-to-point connections, let's have just between us, our sites, between us and the data center. Let's not have a shared network. Well, now I'm not aware of any network provider in the UK that doesn't offer MPLS as the standard. Yeah? So it's not less secure or more secure than it was then. It's the same technology. The technology hasn't changed. Some of the routing equipment has been upgraded and changed over the time, but the technology, the underlying technology is exactly the same. We now think that's fine. Yeah, I mean, there was exactly the same concern 10 years ago. Ooh, that's insecure. Same about internet. Oh, internet is insecure. It's not more secure or insecure than your MPLS network, than your other network. People can still hack into it if they really want to. Yeah, it's about, obviously addressing that protection and making sure you're doing as much as you can to look after your business, look after your data. But the change is happening. But there also needs to be a change of skill set within IT. It's not just about hugging the server in the data room, making sure all the lights are flashing. No, it's actually you have to talk to people now. And that is a mind shift for IT. We like to sort of hide away in a corner, let's dim the lights, let's make sure nobody can actually look at me or talk to me. Yeah? I'm the guru in the corner, I know what I'm doing. Yeah? IT is about engaging with the business. It's talking to the end users. And that is an absolute mind shift, but that needs to happen if IT is there to realize its actual potential. And it's about managing the end users, managing the applications, trying to understand what the organization is actually trying to understand. Building relationships across the business, analyzing what's actually out there. What are my end users using and why are they using that? They're asking for application X, why? Maybe there's a better way of delivering this. Maybe that requirement could be nullified with another solution or by system that's already in place. Try to understand what they're doing, trying to actually be the trusted advisor, be the analyst, business analyst. It's also about managing your providers, managing your cloud service providers. Yeah, there are all kinds of different applications out there and offerings out there. You've got to make sure you actually understand what's out there and working with these guys. Treat them as your extended IT department. That's exactly what they should be. You shouldn't treat them any differently from your own staff. They should help you, they should advise you, and you should trust them as well. It should be a partnership. If they only see you once a year, that is the wrong type of relationship. You've got to make sure you've got a close relationship with these providers so they actually understand your business and they can help you with the business and deliver those changes. But it will need, as I said, a mind shift in terms of the skill set. And it will need some new stuff and it will need some staff retraining over time. It's all about actually moving up the layer through the business and actually understanding what the business is doing, building a partnership within the business, building relationships, talking to the end users. And that's what we'd like to get to. When IT is actually seeing, oh, they're not just the guys in the corner. Yeah, I know there's the cost center. Yeah, I know they're looking after my application. Actually, bloody hell, these guys are good. They know exactly what they're doing. They understand where we need to go as a business. They're always coming up with new, innovative solutions and projects. Have we thought about this? Have we, if we're doing this, we could actually be a step ahead of the curve, a step ahead of the competition. Yeah, these guys still need to understand what happens behind the curtains to a certain level. And there's an awful lot of complexity still out there, but they're the ones that can need to hide the complexity and translate it into a language that everybody else in the business and the organization does understand. Yeah, when people talk about RTO and RPO, okay, ask any chief exec what an RTO and RPO is. Yeah? Why do we need to throw out these acronyms all the time? The time it takes to recover all our data, I can understand that. How often do we actually take a backup of our data? Again, I can understand that. Yeah, talking a language that everybody in the business actually understands. It's not a hidden art, it's kind of like, it's a skill that we should share with the business. But make sure people actually understand that. We know that obviously innovation drives every business, and that innovation needs to come more and more from IT. Showing to the business, we can be flexible. If our requirements change, that's fine. IT can pick up on that. We can address those changes very, very quickly. We can make sure that our end users don't need to come running every time when something doesn't work, because things do work. We understand our end users, we understand how they access the systems, we understand what they need, we can deliver on those. And by the way, of course, we can reduce cost overall. Absolutely vital. So to summarize, in my view at least, I think the role of IT is changing dramatically. It has changed already over the last 10 years, but will change at an even faster rate. But that is coupled with the way that the relationship of IT in the business has to change and is changing. Delivering value, understanding what the business are doing, analyzing the business objectives, translating those into real IT opportunities, real IT projects. And starting to make that transition. Starting to put the steps in place that allow you to focus on end-user applications. Outsource the stuff that you really don't need to look after. If it's better and cheaper, why wouldn't you? And focus on what IT is really all about within that organization. Use the cloud as much as you can. At the same time, don't use it where it's not applicable. Make sure you can address any of the objections that you will get throughout the business and have a counter-argument against it. There's some battles you can win, some you can't. Pick the ones that you can win. But think of IT in terms of change within IT, changing the skill set, get them out there. Get your IT guys actually not to speak to end users, get them to speak to some customers as well. Get them out there. Because these guys have got an enormous amount of knowledge, capabilities. Let's use them. We can actually get them to deliver some real value. And that's it. Were any questions? I don't think I did this actually today, did I? That's quite impressive. Might have done something different. Everybody happy? We're all happy with the changing world in front of us. Fantastic. In that case, thank you very much for your time and attention. Thank you.